Hey everybody, it's Bust with Busted Strategies number 47 or so. I think it's 47. We're going to mix it up a little bit today. Still doing the Midnight Hunt, but we're going to jump in a best of three draft, see how that goes. Um, but yeah, not a bad little day yesterday. We trophied that best of one draft. The Chiefs managed to win. I won all my fantasy football games. Not a bad little day. We'll see. We'll see how things go next week with the Chiefs. They got this sweet matchup with the Packers, which is ultimately pretty scary. Packers beating the Cardinals with like half of their team. So we'll see how the Chiefs hold up. But nonetheless, yeah. I mean, I think. Oh, come on, bud. I think best of three. It's kind of interesting. The draft changes up a little bit. I would like to think that in best of three, whereas in like best of one, like I think it was really apparent in like the previous video where we drafted Boros and we had the pick two option on the Boros Charger, whatever the three cost Cavalier is, um, and you just can't take it, right? Well, we had to take it there. Ideally, you would not take it. You would just let it wheel and pick it up at pick 10. But that pack was kind of weak. I think that with like a little bit of a stronger pack, we would be able to wheel things like that. And I'm kind of curious if in best of three, if selections like that shouldn't go a little bit later, since you will be willing to, uh, maybe board in like a Thraben Exorcism, or you might try to board in some kind of graveyard hate depending on what you're playing against. And so it's a little bit more likely that you're just going to snatch up those sideboard kind of cards as opposed to just taking the uncommon and trying to fill out the weekly chest a little bit quicker. And so it'll be interesting. We'll see. I don't dirtle around enough of these best of threes to know if it's really going to make a difference, but I could certainly see a lot of these strategies that we pursue as far as um, we try to take like just kind of like the best card in the pack for the first couple of picks, and the kind of middle ground will take really aggressive, maybe we'll play it kind of picks, and then we're looking to wheel uh, the kind of underdrafted power cards, and it just seems more likely to be able to do in best of three when those kind of powerful cards tend to be uncommon. So we'll see. Uh, the draft will get started here in just a moment. Okay, and here we go. And Jesus, what a pack! I mean, I'm actually really curious about this one. We have a pack starting with Lisa and Morbid Opportunist. Um, and that's actually kind of a pretty interesting pack one, because if you go with Lisa, you are just kind of like locked into playing white black. I mean, you could technically play like white green with a splash of black or something to fit in this Lisa, but your options are pretty limited in what you're going to be able to do with this. Is whereas the Morbid Opportunist just fits in literally every black deck ever made, and so it's pretty close. Like it feels like every game that the Morbid Opportunist hits the board, you just win anyways. But it is much easier to actually remove from the board. Like things like Defense Straight hit the Morbid Opportunist, where it wouldn't hit the flying creature in Lisa. I'm going to go with Lisa. I'm kind of torn on this pick. I think Morbid Opportunist is arguably the best uncommon in the set, but Lisa is just such a super powerful bomb if it's able to sit on the board for a couple of turns. And so the lifelink lets her just steal a bunch of games. I think I'm on board with that. Okay, so what are we taking here with pick two? I'm okay with Curse of the Leeches. The longer we're able to kind of stall out a game to get access to Lisa, the better. And flipping this into the 4/4 lifelink is just such a huge unit on the board. And so I'm looking towards the Curse of the Leeches. If this is kind of one of these cards where if we take it in our second pick of the draft, we can kind of build towards the Curse and the Lisa. Whereas if we were to take it, in like pack three, there's a good chance we're in a deck that can't really support this. And so I'm kind of okay with it. I'm curious what the person to the right would have taken here. Probably something along the lines of like a black removal spell or an organ hoarder. And so I do worry about the blackness of the cards coming around us here. But Here's the curse. Hopefully we can table a Hobbling Zombie or a Shady Traveler. And there is the Festival Crasher package in that pack as well. So something to think about on the way around. And okay, I mean, do we just continue to rare draft all day? It's tempting. Like the downside to taking like a Memory Deluge is blue white doesn't really want anything to do with Memory Deluge or Lisa. They're both just kind of like a little bit slow for what the blue white deck is trying to do. And so the downside to having to pass on something like Memory Deluge is we're getting stuck with a very kind of like mediocre quality card here, whether or not it's another run of the Hobbling Zombie or the Shady Traveler. I think I'm okay with just kind of like picking up the Hobbling Zombie here. This is going to play much better in a lot of the white-black kind of themes. But, I mean, I could definitely just see Memory Deluge being the pick, but I'm going to go with the Hobbling Zombie. We need to at least kind of like lock in on one of these colors here. Okay, and then at least, none of these cards here are super awesome, but it is a reasonable set of white-black cards to be looking at. We have the choice between kind of the Covert Cut Purse, which I'm not opposed to. Kind of like one of the problems you run into with white-black is having enough sacrificable creatures. And the Disturb units do it. There's not too many Disturb units in black. I think this might be the only one. Things like Hobbling Zombie help out with that as well. And so I'm kind of okay with the Covert Cut Purse here. I don't like this in a lot of decks, but I think it should be okay. We're running out of wheels, but maybe we could get an Arrogant Outlaw on the way back in this pack. Oh, Bloodline Calling. Jesus, and an Eaten Alive? Oh, man, let me stop and see what this thing does. Target creature gets -5/-5, or you kill off all the creature tokens. Interesting. I've never had the chance to play this. I mean, it just has to be better than Eaten Alive, right? Instant speed -5/-5. That's a pretty bonkers spell. We don't have like too much of the sacrifice build around here, but I think we just have to go with the Bloodline Calling. It seems so super powerful. Okay, and then just the Memory Deluge. Like, I could see us at this point just playing blue-black. I think it was okay letting the first one go. We haven't seen any really compelling reasons to play white outside of just Lisa. And so we'll go with the Memory Deluge here. We might just kind of convert into a blue-black deck. And this is kind of why I was saying I'm curious if the likes of the Morbid Opportunist is just the better pick. Pick one, pack one, because we could most certainly be building a blue-black deck here and taking advantage of the Opportunist, whereas we're looking like we might have to push Lisa to the sideboard. But we'll see. We'll take the Delver of Secrets. I'm not a huge fan of Delver in this format, but if you're picking them up early, you can kind of adjust to try and get access to some of the mill strategies and using your larder zombies to help flip the Delvers. I don't really like to play it unless we have two. Oh boy, there's a late-ass Eaten Alive. Jeez. Okay. Alright. I'm on board. Then the Geistwave tabled. Not bad. We were expecting a Shady Traveler, or that might be the next pack where we were expecting Shady Traveler, Hobbling Zombie, but Geistwave is fine. None of those cards tabled. This was the Festival Crashers pack with the Skrillex, the Stolen Vitality, and the Festival Crashers. We'll take the Skrillex. We're not going to play it. I don't think we'll ever sideboard in a duress, so I think this is okay. Interesting. Yeah, This would be like this would be looking so good if we had just started with that Morbid Opportunist. But we're looking okay. We need to do a bit of curve management. Bloodline Calling can go here. You are actually a creature. Geistwave is probably going to get played. Picking up larder zombies here. Yeah, I feel like we're just going to be... we're looking more like this would be kind of just like a blue-black Flyers kind of control deck. We need to work on a bit of direction here. We have a good pile of good cards. Like, this is just kind of a classic blue-black control good cards looking kind of deck. So I'd like to get a bit of direction in here. We can't really take advantage of a bunch of, say, like zombies. Like, we don't have any of the go wide zombies kind of cards outside of the larder zombie, but we're getting ourselves in a good place here. we'll pick up the Component Collector. I don't like playing Shipwreck Sifters unless we're playing a Disturb deck, which we most certainly are not doing here. Okay, well, I'm sorry, Lisa. I don't think you're going to make the cut today. We did pick up a good go wide card in the Scab Wrangler. And then out of this pack, we might be able to wheel a bait hook angler. There's the the deserted beach in here to really tempt us to get this Lisa in our deck. I just don't think that that's going to happen today. Okay, Wrangler. Right, well, the Siphon Insight is okay. We'll have like enough card advantage-y kind of stuff after taking the Siphon Insight. We already have the Memory Deluge, but this is one of the more powerful ones. Also works well if you get some of the self-mill. And then out of this one, we're looking to table either, the No Way Out or the Blessed Defiance. I mean, if that land tables and we get an Evolving Wilds, maybe we could try and play double white. No, that's not happening, but looking pretty strong into the blue-black. Okay, here's a Corpse Cobble. Like, I'm kind of curious if we can even, like, support a Corpse Cobble. Our only ways of generating zombie tokens at this point, do we even have anything? It's just the Hobbling Zombie. I think it's strong enough, but we're going to have to, like, really focus on trying to pick up the likes of things like, I'm not going to take the No Way Out here because I want the Larder Zombie, but we need things like No Way Out, Flip the Switch, just any of the zombie generation is... all our deck is really searching for at this point. Pretty weak set of cards. We can take the Crawl from the Cellar out of this one. I don't think we'll ever end up playing Locked in the Cemetery in this style deck. Our removal spells are just too good at this point. Well, I guess I thought we had a lot more removal spells, but I don't think we'll really be playing a Locked in the Cemetery. But here, let's pick up the Novice Occultist. We need some of this early game just stuff. I'm not amped about the Novice Occultist, but we already have this like big pile of 3-drops, so I don't really want to pick up the Shady Traveler, and I'd rather have a more kind of card advantage-y kind of thing than the Unblinking Observer. I could see us playing the Observer. I mean, we have the Deluge and the Siphon Insight and lots of ways to kind of spend this mana, but I'm going to go for the card advantage play here. All right, pretty weak set of cards. Lots of white rolled through this pack, but I think we were in too deep. I don't think we could ever pivot into white at this point. Let's just go ahead and move the Lisa to the sideboard. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. You ever play Ominous Roost? I mean, I think it's the take here, but we don't quite have enough cards to make it worthwhile. Got 3, 4 flashbacks, no Disturb. We'll have 1 Disturb. I don't think you'll make the cut, but let's pick it up just in case. Locked in the Cemetery is fine. I don't want to play it, but we may. Okay, then we're getting to the filler. Didn't wheel any of those lands, which is just a bit unfortunate. Okay, so, I mean, I think we're looking decent at least. I would like it if we had a big way to kind of end the game outside of Corpse Cobble. But then we need to work on the bottom end of our curve just a little bit. Okay, there's a big way to end the game in Grafted Identity. Just one of the best blue cards in the set. Just the control magics are supremely powerful. We still need to pick up some zombie generation. Like, I was expecting a No Way Out the table in the previous pack, and it just didn't happen. This does not look like a pack where No Way Out table. Just too many like red and green cards and not enough Esper cards, right? So don't suspect this No Way Out will make its way back, but it's one of those things that we need to be picking up here. Okay, there is a Siphon Insight. We're not going to play it here. Hopefully it will table. We need to come over here and be taking things like Falcon Abomination. We have to get some amount of zombie generation going, and this is one of the better ways to be doing it. So happy enough with this. Ideally, we'll table a Siphon Insight or a Midnight Ambush. There's enough black cards in this one where we may get something back out of it, but we need the Falcon Abomination. We're probably not playing our Delver of Secrets. This is super click that one, but the second Falcon Abomination feels really good. And the third Falcon Abomination. All right, well, we've got our ways to come out here and generate our zombies now. That didn't take too much work. Go us. So let's see, the Delver's going to come out. Secrets of the Keys is going to come out. We got enough card advantage at this point. Probably still want to hang on to Crawl from the Cellars. We'll have to wait and see. Don't really want to play Locked in the Cemetery. That gets us pretty close to a decent deck. Looking to probably cut Covert, cut Purse, probably cut the Component Collector, although I do really like Component Collector in these decks, but you can get kind of the same effect out of the Hobbling Zombie, and he generates tokens for us. All right, yeah, not bad, not bad. Okay, well, I think I'm okay with Covetous Castaway here. I have, like, you have to be able to, like, really manage this for it to be, like, really high-powered, but I think we have the tools to do it, right? We have the self-mill stuff to just mill it into our graveyard. We have one sacrifice card, so we can potentially get it off of the board. And this is a pretty good late game play for us. We're just kind of lacking a little bit of the kind of end it now flyers. And he fits in just kind of perfectly with what we're trying to assemble. That would also get us to our 6, 1, and 2 drops to make me feel a lot better about the early game. Looks good. Looks good. Okay, Falcon Abomination number 100. Don't mind if I do. There's the Otherworldly Gaze. This is what I was talking about in terms of trying to manage Delver of Secrets. Like if we have, 2 Delver of Secrets and 2 Larder Zombies and an Otherworldly Gaze or 2, then we can really kind of manage the top cards of our deck and try and get flips on the Delver. But kind of keep it in mind that it's here, but knowing that there is a second Delver running around, I just don't feel like our deck is really in the space to take advantage of that. But we'll see. If we wheel the Delver and we wheel the thing, I'm willing to come in and play towards that. All right, interesting pick here. I think I want the Startle. I do like the kind of late game thing that you can do with the Siege Zombie. Probably not going to be able to pick any of these up, but I feel like we need a little bit more interactivity here. And so I'm going to go with the Startle over the Siege Zombie. We have like stuff to do as far as our tappers go, right? We have the Scab Wrangler, we have the 2 Larder Zombies. It's not super critical to be getting that ping ability in. Okay, well, sucks to be the Boros drafter today. We'll take it as we take out the Sacred Fire. Looks like we aren't wheeling any of the... I think this was the pack we didn't expect to wheel the No Way Out of, since it was kind of the only playable black card. And it looks like we're probably not going to wheel any Esper cards here. I could see a world where we actually play Drownyard Amalgam. I'm going to go ahead and add it to the stack just in case. Not really intent on playing it, but that one might actually make the cut here. Let's see. It's just kind of like I like to have like one big dude. We would rather it be the Behemoth, the Siege Titan Behemoth, whatever he's called, or the Morcrit Behemoth, the big menace guy. But this thing can serve a purpose, and I'm not completely opposed to playing it here. So let's see. Let me check the sideboard real quick. I'm not playing Delver. I don't think we need Locked in the Cemetery. We might be taking the Component Collector out of our deck. I don't think we ever play 2. Poor Lisa out here. I would really love this be the Morbid Opportunist, but we learned our lesson. Okay, there's nothing in the sideboard we're looking to play. We've only got 14 creatures in here, so we're probably not going to cut any of these out. It is worth noting that Corpse Cobble, technically a creature, but and Grafted Identity, kind of technically sort of a creature as well. And so I could see us cutting this down to 13. We do have like lots of ways to come out here and make zombies, right? We have the 4 Falcon Abominations, the Hobbling Zombie, we got the Startle, and so that looks pretty good. I think though, I mean, I'm really just looking to cut this Covert, cut Purse. He can be fine though. I mean, if we get to mill it, like it's kind of similar to the kind of similar to the Covetous Castaway. It's like I would rather just mill it as opposed to draw it, but if we draw it, like at least the Covetous Castaway is, pretty good early, whereas the Covert Cut Purse just like doesn't really do anything, and his Disturb is pretty expensive. So are we willing to drop to 13? I mean, we have 2 ways to sacrifice units. I think I want to I think I want to be cutting a unit here, right? We've got, and we need to be playing like all of our interactivity. Card advantage is good. I'm just looking towards the cut purse. So I think I want to keep the Curse of the Leeches. The next choice would be the Component Collector, but the board stall with these things is quite nice. I'm a much bigger fan of Horned Turtle than your than your general player. So I think that's fine. We can cut out the cut purse. We're good with the 17 land, and I think this is it. Let's jump onto battle. Okay, and here we go. So yeah, reasonable enough deck. I think we should be able to do some work with this. And I will apologize if I have to randomly kind of cut out in the videos. I thought I'd kind of like beat this cold by today, but I had to go and take a tussin break, and so I will elect to not drip a bunch of boogers on the video and try my best to keep that from happening. But if there's a random break in the video, we probably had to do a little booger control. And, you're welcome. that's the top-notch content people show up and watch these videos for. Getting a little booger control. All right. Well, there's a world we should have played this swamp first if we want to try and bloodline calling next turn, but I don't think that's going to happen too frequently. We're playing the Falcon Abomination like 100% of the time. Okay, against the old blue-red deck with no 2-drop. I mean, that feels pretty good for us, right? If they're out here trying to crash the festivals. Ooh. Okay. Well, if he has a haste creature, he's got us. Good job. I think I'm good to just mill out the Corpse Cobble. We're about to get this kind of like tempo flyery thing going. And that's going to be quite a while before we're going to try and take advantage of that. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Definitely not a great start from Jules Byrne here. Spending a card to take care of a zombie token and then following up with a card advantage play. Looking to run this over with the Abominations here. Saw him highlight the tome. This isn't the time to be highlighting the tome. You gotta be getting on board and doing something here. It's really just gonna be like a Revenge of the Drowned. I mean, that seems better than activating the tome, but sure. Memory Deluge, though. That one's tough. It's like we'd still need to be picking up some like more mana, and I want to keep getting on board and pushing the advantage. I'm kind of looking at just making like tempo plays here, where we play assume we just draw like a card we 100% cannot play next turn. We can still drop the Castaway, get a Larder Zombie activation, get a Geistwave cast. I think we're good to just get the incremental values out of these flashback cards. I don't think we're playing like a real big like grindy control game here. I really feel like we're about to just get hit with a bounce zombie thing. Just nothing, stone nothing. So weird. You can flip the switch our Castaway if that's if that's the play. I'm more than happy to have the Castaway go away here. Wow, just actual do nothing? Why did she at least draw a card? Weird. Okay. That's 100% getting bounced. Let's see what they got. Ideally, Like I think I'll mill like any flashback card. I'll mill an island. I want to draw swamps. I need one swamp here, and then otherwise, as long as it's something that lets us keep up our aggression, I'll be pretty happy with our mill. I mean, drawing land aren't that bad here. We got tons of stuff to do with our mana. Discard Dissipate. Wonder if that's what they just drew, or they just didn't want to dissipate the Covetous Castaway. Interesting. Decline. Oh, here we go. Abomination and Toon Land, sure. Keep our zombie token back. I wanna get another mill. We are looking pretty dominating here. Oh fuck! At least it doesn't kill our amalgam. It's sad having the corpse cobble in our graveyard when this thing pops off. We miss our opportunity to to just blast in for a ton. But this is fine. We got a big flyer coming in. We're threatening lethal next turn. I think I'm pretty okay with this. Grafted Identity can go back in the deck. I don't think I want to shuffle in any of these Falcon Abominations. I could see an argument for Memory Deluge, but I think... Or the Geist Wave, maybe? Let's do the Geist Wave as well. Take action. Burn down the house. I've never played around Burn Down the House in my entire life, so... I accept getting blown up by that. But we're in a pretty good spot here. I mean, if they tap out for any kind of creature, we can Bloodline Calling pretty much every creature in the format. We have a pretty good shot at getting in for 6. We'll have to remember for the future games, though, that they do have this big AoE. A little scary. They appear to believe the game is not over. Is this going to be a bounce spell? Revenge of the Drowned comes in. Do we ever just say play Corpse Cobble and make the 3/3? I think I'm kind of okay with that. It gives us the 2 lethal units for next turn. I dig it. I dig it. But now they have to have 2 cards again, and those cards can't be creatures. Feels good. They still haven't used this Mysterious Tome. No idea why. But the tap ability would have been pretty strong for next turn if they'd been able to, you know, have a bounce spell and a tap. It would buy them a bunch of time. We're getting kind of lucky with the forgets on the tome back here. I've never forgotten ability in my life, though. I've never missed a Siege Zombie activation. I've pretty much never done anything wrong, and anything that has gone wrong has been Wizard's fault, so... that's just kind of the way it is. Got Menace. Okay. Why does it keep putting this exclamation point on here? Okay. So we don't have like a really compelling sideboard here. Not too much came along. I mean, there's some various white cards that we picked up, but I don't think we have too many options here. This didn't feel like a match where we want the Covetous Cut Purse. We probably would have the time to get it on board, but I think all we'll like really be looking at these days is if we want to, if we're say playing against like red black and want to bring in Component Collector or something, or if we're in kind of a grindy mirror match, maybe we want Secrets of the Key. If we're playing against werewolves, maybe we want Locked in the Cemetery. We have some options here, but I feel pretty good about our main board against this blue-red deck that we're playing against. Okay, and that is not a keeper. I forget. I get so weirded out in best of three. I'm not used to being able to get these 6-land hands, but much better here. So let's keep the 6. I'm going to send away the Corpse Cobble. This is a little bit too slow for what we're doing. Reasonable start otherwise. Opponent goes to 5. Okay. Sure. You got the Disturb. Nope. Alright, and I could realistically see this Curse of Leeches flipping pretty quickly. If they're on the mulligan to 5 and just have some kind of weird hand. With them tapping, or with them not having a play, I'm just going to run out the Hobbling Zombie. That's the worst option here. We saw the Dissipate in the previous game, so I'd rather have the zombie get dissipated than our Curse of the Leeches. Okay. Got him down to 1 card. Revenge of the Drowned discard. Sucks. So they clearly have like a spell in hand. They wouldn't just be discarding Revenge of the Drowned. They would have insta-discarded a land if they had it there, I do believe. But I think we're looking okay. I don't think we'll get to flip the curse this turn, but it's doing its thing. I think the question is, do we want to block an Overwhelmed Archivist when he attacks with it? And pretty okay with that. I mean, just replaying the 3/4 next turn to be pretty strong. We don't have any sacrifice cards at this point anyways. What do we hit? 2 Falcon Abominations? Weird. It's kind of tempting to shuffle these back in, just to kind of ensure that we have ways to win the game. I think it's okay. It's pretty low value. I could see an argument for not shuffling back in, but all right. I think this one's probably done. You're looking quite strong. I'm gonna play the Observer. I'd like to get the mana here. We can threaten to trade with this Archivist. I don't think we want to trade, but I'm kind of looking at like the Siphon Insight and having the ability to play additional cards. We'll just play the startle. I want to get the zombie token. We should be able to just end the game next turn. Got him. Victory 1 under the belt. Okay. Oof. I want a mythic orange name. We deserve it. We hit mythic last month. We should get a special treat. Here you go, Bust. Here's your treat. Alright, we'll play. What do we got? This is a weak hand, but I don't think it's weak enough to mulligan away. Sure. And then are we willing to just like throw the castaway in front of a festival crasher? Not opposed to it. I would rather have access to a corpse cobble before we try and go all in on a festival crasher, but this kind of sucks. I don't think we can stop. Like, this is where we run into a spot where it would have been better if we played the Unblinking Observer first. I just kind of felt like we're probably just going to be blocking with the castaway. But now the Observer is like a little bit too slow. We can't make a corpse cobble play next turn. But if he wasn't willing to attack last turn, maybe he's not willing to attack this turn. We can see if we can't stall just a little bit with our imposing board here. Mystic Skull. Okay, beautiful. He highlighted the Brimstone Vandal, totally blocking if he wants to come in with that. Okay. I think we're kind of safe to start coming in with the Falcon Abomination. I like it. I would have liked to have just drawn a land. That would have made life a little bit easier. But I think this is okay. And we add Hobbling Zombie. Curious what the white is for in this deck. Gonna be the Homestead Courages. Comes in with the Crasher. So it's like, how bad is this if they have a removal spell? It's like manageable. It's not great by any means, but I think we can go for it. This is going to be a removal spell frequently, though. No way he's only going to get one. He only gets one? Oh. Oh, friend. The fuck is this thing? Never seen this art before. Werewolf thing was the trample one? Okay. I believe my reaction to be appropriate. What the fuck is this thing? Alright, so we got him down to one card. I don't really want it to go to knight, although it seems like it's kind of likely to happen. The question we have here is, do we want to play Bloodline Calling? Do we want to play Corpse Cobble? And I made this play because I intended on just sacrificing off the Falcon Abomination to the Corpse Cobble and making a 6/6. I kind of feel like if they had a removal at this point, they would have just played it by now. And I think that's reasonably safe. The downside to this is it's not like super mana efficient on our future turns, right? We could potentially like Corpse Cobble and something else, but this is okay. The FYI, here comes a big dude. Bring in that heat, huh? So the only thing that would be worrisome here would be the Lunar Rush. It doesn't have it. Seems good for us. We're going to have to worry about this Mystic Skull eventually, but all in all, this seems fine. We can... Everybody has burned down the houses today. That's so weird. Okay. I mean, we don't have to worry about Mystic Skull for a turn. This is one of the few units that can survive a big Bloodline Culling, but hoping that we get the opportunity to just Grafted Identity that, which we did. Let's attack first. Thank you. I didn't imagine I'd be ever attacking with a Mystic Monstrosity in this format ever. We've been granted the opportunity now. Dreadhound. Okay. Oh, you had the mythic, the Tainted Adversary in there. Okay, so again, slightly awkward in terms of us not having... We want to be playing some of these spells, but our monstrosity is bigger than the Dreadhound, so we can at least lock down this board for a little bit. I want to leave the Scab Wrangler. We've got this the Raised Dead in our graveyard already. Let's send the Geist Wave back in, and I think everything else can stay. Okay. +1/+1s to other vampires. Keeps highlighting my stuff over here like he's gonna do something. That's bad. He gets his monstrosity back. A little on the unfortunate side. Blocks. We were in such a good space. This mana, being behind in mana is really gonna burn us now. Really need to be able to cast 2 spells this turn. I think we're just dead now. We can add a component collector, but that's not going to win us a game. Fuck. So close to being so far ahead in that one. All right, well, let's see what we can do here. I'm looking at Locked in the Cemeteries for this one. He does have that collection of just gigantic dudes. I feel like as long as we can stall out this early game, we're going to be fine. So let's see. I think I'm kind of interested in the Covert Cut Purse as well. It gives us the opportunity. It's like the problem with the Cut Purse is like it's good when you're attacking, right? If say you're attacking with a bunch of 1/1s, your opponent blocks, and then you get to go up in the curve. But it's not good when your opponent's attacking you, right? It doesn't have flash. You can't play it on your opponent's turn. Maybe we let that one go. But I think I do want the locked in the cemetery just as a way to deal with those units. As far as taking something out, I think I could look to take out Croft from the cellar. We shouldn't need like too many value cards in this matchup. Okay. Okay, so we'll be on the play. Looks like a reasonable keep. Opponent goes to 6. Opponent goes to 5. Okay, the battle begins. Let's start with the Castaway. It's got a little bit more stats. Probably not doing any attacking or blocking anytime soon, but let's at least get the more stats on board. See if we get hit with that burn down the house again. That's so weird playing against that. Not a rare that we've seen very commonly. Sure. I can go for an Abomination. And I think we're kind of in the same spot as like a few games ago when we were really trying to take advantage of these larger zombies, where it's like, if we hit an island, we'll mill it, but I do want to pick up a swamp. It's going to be another exile card. Midnight Ambush, okay. And then how do we feel about going ahead and milling on our upkeep? Let's see, if he attacks, I'll definitely throw the Occultist in front, but I think it's probably safe. Oh, didn't get the chance to do it. We didn't push the button fast enough. Wow, no land again. Good and bad, I guess. But I think we can go. We definitely want the grafted identity, and then we can just go for the Scab Wrangler as well. We do have to, watch out a little bit for that. For the likes of whatever the burn down the house is called, but I think we're looking fine. About to do it. Is he bringing it? Oh, Socialite. Okay. Okay. Out of cards. We'll let him get the boost. We have the tools to deal with this stuff. Okay, so I mean, do we ever want to just grafted identity this slaughter specialist? It's the biggest one he has on board right now. I could get behind that. This has menace, right? But we can't attack anyways. So let's see. One, two, three. Um, I could go for a Falcon Abomination. Let's leave that on top. The grafted identity. Okay, looks good. Now at least our gigantic slaughter specialist will survive a burn down the house as well. Okay. Oh, it's our Falcon Abomination. We don't need to. We'll decline that one. Three. Alright, then we should be pretty close to lethal here. How much do we even have? Like 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. May be able to lethal depending on what they do. So can we? It's probably worth just going for it. He can't. It takes 5 to flip the skull. It's okay. Falcon Abomination. Okay. Sure. Alrighty, so we got it. We gotta double check these bust mathematics, but pretty sure we did it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17 or so. One, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. Need that Oracle's Eye. It's tough. It'd be so nice if you could just put everybody in the red zone and then check the Oracle's Eye to see if it's lethal, but not the way it works. So, okay, before game 3, do we want to make any trades here? Component collectors, a potential one. Again, I don't like the cut purse. I don't think there's too much I'm really interested in removing here, though. Got the one component collector. The cemetery's good. He did board in Rotten Reunion, but that's kind of whatever. Yeah, I think I'm happy enough with what we have going on here. Let's move on. So weird. I've seen them play the Plains and the Mystic Skull. I wonder if they have like 2 of the the black-white exile flashback card. Not sure what else they would be splashing white for. Maybe a Boros card or something. It's so odd to splash like Boros Cavaliers and Rems because they want to come down early, and it's so hard to get that mana early. But the flashback removal spell makes sense since you can kind of mill it, or you can loot it away and then try and cast it on like turn 8 or something. But the Boros cards don't make a lot of sense. And cards like Lisa don't make sense either because they cost double white. All right. Game 3 begin. So what do we got? This hand, not that strong. Opponent took a mulligan though. I'm going to keep it. We get quite a few draws. I think they mulligan to 5. And then they say this kind of feels like comparing the quality of cards in our deck to the quality of cards in their deck. As long as we have like a reasonable mix of units and spells, or of spells and lands, we should be fine. We can run into problems if this is one of these hands to where 10 cards deep we have 7 lands, but I think that we're okay. Got reasonably aggressive draw here. I think I want to. We should have startled in combat. It's like I'm kind of looking. I want to play Locked in the Cemetery next turn, and then if we want to play Grafted Identity 2 turns from now, we need to have the zombie token now. So we took an extra point of damage, I do believe. I guess the question is, do we ever want to Grafted Identity a Brimstone Vandal? It's pretty low value, but they're down to 2 cards in hand. Can Geistwave back Grafted Identities if we want to as well. I think I'm okay with it if they don't have plays here. I think this is fine. If it gets them to play like Olivia's Midnight Ambush, then fine. We should be able to just grind them out here. And so if they have to spend a removal spell and kind of get 2 for 1 on their own, I think this is good. Yep. Grind them out activated. We'll deal with this Covert Cut Purse a little bit later. We can Eaten Alive Exiles, which is kind of nice, but I'm fine to just drop to 14. I want to get this Siphon Insight down and start getting a board. It's like the only things I worry about is opponent playing like, Dreadhound and us not being able to answer it. Okay, well, I didn't expect this to be the way that we would come out here and try to win a game, but apparently it is. All these things have haste? Did not expect that. Oh, well, aggro time then. And we also have these combos with the Corpse Cobble. If we want to sacrifice all the devil tokens off and then deal a bunch of damage to stuff. Pretty cool. I thought we were just going to be attacking with Scab Wrangler here and tapping something with the devil tokens, but all right. You know, it is a little worrisome to take like too much damage from this. I think we can take this attack for another turn. Now that we have the chance to like Memory Deluge, I don't want to burn off this Geist Wave. Just in terms of, you know, the way that he would actually win this game would be like playing an X spell on us or something. And so I like having access to the bounce spell just as for a little bit of protection. So we can Larder Zombie, we can Covetous Castaway. If he gives us a reason to play Geist Wave, we can do it. If he doesn't, we're still looking pretty good. And then we have these really weird plays to where if they tap out, we can maybe just kill them with Corpse Cobble. How big is that? 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That seems a little greedy. Okay, I think we're good. It's a little worrisome when they have all these cards in their hand, but I think we're fine. What do you do? Make zombies with decay? Sure. Is this where we can win it? I think we're fine. Geist Wave the Geist. We've done it. Excellent. Match 2 in the books. Okay. Round 3 start. Not bad, not bad. A little final battle. Opponent has been found. Battles are ready. I bet they choose to draw. They did not. Oh man, a 1-lander. Get this out of here. Alright, that's better. Keep 6. We're not playing anything except Falcon Abomination this game, so get ready for it. It could actually be a pretty reasonable draw against blue-black. Interesting. Okay. Here they come. All the abominations all the time. No blocks. Okay. I'll leave our little zombies back. There is an argument to go ahead and just get them in. But I feel like what's going to happen here is we're going to have to block the Organ Hoarder. It's just like so bad if he has a startle. I kind of wanted to keep him back for like tapping duty, but I mean, I guess if he has a startle, it should at least keep him from playing a spell this turn. Yeah. Oh, brutal, brutal. Okay, well, let's bring it in now. We can get a shutdown on the zombie tokens for this turn and then try and block them with Component Collector next turn. That's kind of the idea we have going on here. Right? We have to watch out for like a big aggressive turn out of them where they just swamp in with a bunch of zombies. We can slow that down a little bit. This is not a good start. I think if we were on the play, we'd be crushing this, but on the draw, that startle was kind of punishing. I was really hoping that we'd be able to get a block and then they would just have no plays after that. Okay. Definitely just have to try and win a race here. We can't win a value game against all the organ hoarders that are coming down. Okay. Here come the flyers. Non-stop. Alrighty, well we're doing stuff. the best way to describe what has happened here. Yeah, we're doing stuff. We're getting it in there. Hopefully it's a little too scary for them to attack into, but ooh, so far this is good. We can get away with just taking 3. Seemed like he was thinking of attacking with the Hook on Drifter as well. Alright, a little more scary with the zombie tokens coming in. The problem with this is we can only really get a block in with the Component Collector, right? Because of his Hook on Drifter. If we want to win the game in 2 attacks, which we really need to be doing, this gives us an out to win if we draw a removal. Which is this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's only 9. Okay. So we can block like this. But we need ourselves in this space to where we attack with all of our flyers, he blocks with the Hook Hunt Drifter, and then we get a win in on the next turn. But I don't suspect we like ever win this game. He's got 5 cards in his hand, and he's going to follow up with 2 here. But this gives us a chance. Rotten Reunion, that's a bit unfortunate. It gives him potential to get 3 units on the board. Okay. I think we would have won that on the play. It's on the draw, it's a little too much. And I don't think there's too much interesting in our sideboard for this match. I don't want the cut purse. I mean, I could see an argument for it, but it just I guess it would have been decent against. He didn't have the shipwreck sifters were the only thing he played that could potentially be bigger than this. So you could see some decent trades with it. Like if we get a trade and then get to flash it back, that's fine. I think that's kind of the way we should go with this. Let's take out the Component Collector. We'll add in Covert Cut Purse. I don't want the Roost. We don't have enough flashbacks. Don't want the Delver. Okay. But yeah, not too much play in that game, but that was certainly a game. I think we had two options there. We could have just chose to not block with into the startle. Could have been a mistake. Um, I don't. It's like they don't have startle there all the time, but it's so bad when they do. But I kind of got slipped up a bit. I wasn't paying attention to when they played the land. I kind of felt like if they were trying to play a 2-drop after the fact, they wouldn't be able to do it. But oh god, I don't think we can keep hands like this. Like the novice occultist just sits on the board forever. Not like this, dealer. Not like this. Let's see if we can do it from 5. Nope. No. What a bummer. Alright, what you gonna discard, my man? Sure. Okay, we'll call it a day. I'm not gonna fool with this when this is done. But a little unfortunate there at the end of the day, but kinda is what it is. I think these are just done now, right? You only get the one loss in the best of 3? Yeah. Okay. Kinda is what it is. So let's take a moment. We'll get this one pulled up just a second. Okay, and so yeah, I mean this deck was fine. I mean this was pretty standard in terms of what you're going to see with blue black. I think the things that you have to kind of stop and consider whenever you're drafting blue black are am I playing the zombies deck to where I'm just going to try and go like super wide with the zombie tokens. We're going to stall out forever, and then eventually just like get a scab wrangler down or get a bunch of value out of the little zombie tokens. It's like a big build around that you have to have a lot to have happen, and it doesn't happen too commonly where you're getting the scab wranglers and you're getting the zombie lord and you're getting all of the appropriate cards and a couple siege zombies and larder zombies and all that. Doesn't come together too often. And I think it's very easy to get like caught up into that deck and not having it really be here. I think most of the time you're drafting blue black, you're looking at two things. You're saying, am I playing blue black flyers? As to where you're going to try and get some kind of like board stall dude down at the beginning of the game, whether or not it's larder zombie or covetous castaway. The component collector does it as well, and then you're just going to try and curve like Falcon Abomination into the 3/2 flying disturb guy, and then so you're just very traditional. It's what a blue white flyers deck typically looks like, but it's in blue black. Otherwise, you're going to be playing a deck like this where you're just in blue black good cards, and it's mainly just a matter of balancing. Did I get a decent curve? Did I get enough removal? Did I get the right combination of card advantage cards? And kind of piecing together a classic control deck. And I thought we did that pretty well here. This would have been much nicer if we did have that morbid opportunist as opposed to the Lisa in our sideboard, but that pick's still kind of up in the air. Like I think that's all there's really to talk about here in terms of the deck. Like I think this was pretty straightforward. The white wasn't open. We ended up in blue black. That's fine. But I think this pick one was, kind of like the biggest question of this draft here in terms of should we just take Morbid Opportunist over Lisa, given that, like, I think, like, Lisa, on, like, a scale of 10, would probably be about, like, 9.5 in a deck that can play her. She just wins, like, literally every game that she comes down in, and you get to untap with her in, and she's much more difficult to deal with than the Morbid Opportunist. But the Morbid Opportunist, while being probably like, you know, an 8.5 instead of a 9.5, this is probably the best black uncommon in the set. It's better than most of the black rares. I don't could arguably be the best black card in the set, but I still think it is like objectively worse than Lisa. Um, but you know, it would have fit in our deck here if we ended up drafting, I don't know, green black or something. We would still be playing Morbid Opportunist, as to where there's only the one deck archetype that can play Lisa. And so I think maybe if white black was better, right? I think as if we're looking at the Esper colors, I think blue black tends to be the best. I should say for like mediocre drafts, like, you know, if you're just getting an average quality deck, I think that the blue black and then blue white and then white black is the order of goodness. And then I think if you get like the super high powered, everything came together right style of deck, I think blue white is better than blue black, and then blue black is still better than white black. And so it's like white black is the worst of the Esper colors, which is just still better than the other 7 remaining color combinations. And so she's not really like pushing you to the top tier deck to where you could get with the Morbid Opportunist, but I still think that this is tough. And then the second kind of point in taking the Lisa is that it's so easy to end up with enough playables. Like we got, I don't think we got like super cut in this draft, but we still ended up with like 24 25 playables before we got into the deck building. And so you can take these kind of like high risk picks like Lisa. There's a lot of draft formats to where you can very realistically get to the deck building phase and only have like 20 21 playables. And Lisa's, you know, pretty dangerous in those kind of formats, but in this one, it's never the case. I've never run into a deck where I didn't have, you know, 23 to 28 cards to pick from in the deck building, and so I think I kind of like it. I think in this draft, you know, it didn't turn out for the best, but I think we were really hard cut out of white in pack 1. And so it just didn't really come together. It feels like in pack 2, the white cards were really kind of like flowing through. If we kind of like sneak into the midpoint of the packs, you have your Chaplain of Alms, Candle Trap, Silversmith. Like there's playable white cards running through late in pack 2, but in pack 1, I think someone to our right was definitely drafting white. It just didn't happen. But otherwise, I think this draft was pretty straightforward. Other than this, I definitely see an argument for taking the Opportunist over the Lisa. In pick 2, I think this was fine. The Curse of the Leeches is definitely stronger than both Hobbling Zombie, Shady Traveler, and Larder Zombie. Also keeps us lined up. It plays reasonably well in white-black. You can see in the one game where this flipped, you just gain tons of health, and it's not really easy to interact with in combat. Here, still pretty happy with the Hobbling Zombie over the Memory Deluge. The Memory Deluge, it's good. It's just not like super high powered. It's not super high quality. And we didn't think we were going to be playing blue at this point. We were still super heavily incentivized to be playing white-black. So I think that was fine. Again, the Covert Cut Purse, don't really like it, but these cards aren't that good. We could take some white cards here in the Cathar Commando, but you know, I mean, I really just don't like this cut purse more and more. I mean, I think this could have been a mispick here. I think realistically, I would rather have Croft in the Cellar than the cut purse and the Arrogant Outlaw, but this does feel like a bad pick. I've never had any success with the Covert Cut Purse. Pick 3, though, black is clearly open at this point, right? With the Bloodline Calling and the Eaten Alive showing up at pick 4 or pick 5. So we know that we're playing black at this point. It's just we're running into problems picking up white cards. It's just a pack with no white, a pack with no white, and a pack with no white. And so, I mean, we're pretty well locked into blue-black at this point. I do feel like I think our black is extremely good. Our blue is serviceable. If, you know, good enough white cards do show up in pack 2, then it's completely fine. But, I mean, it was just a really premier blue-black card in the Scab Wrangler, and we're definitely locked in from here. So I could see the arguments for some of these. Like, this could be a pack to where we take the Gale Drifter and try to wheel the Siphon Insight. Really tough to do with it both being blue-black since it's such a common pairing, and It's a rare, so I don't suspect Siphon Insight would ever come back out of this pack. If we were, drafting at the Pro Tour and people were, just playing for absolutely to win, still doubt that this tables. There's just not very many good cards in this pack. Like not anyone wants to be playing Howl the Hunt, Plummet, Rejuvenator. These red cards are fairly meh, especially when there's a play with fire. Like there's just no really good cards to take out of that pack. This one I wasn't real sure on. I'm still not 100% sure I like the Corpse Cobble over Startle. It's like at the end of the day, I would almost rather just have the two Startles in this deck we've assembled here, but I think this is okay. Nonetheless, happy with the Larder Zombie. We're starting to run out of playables. Novice Occultist just never fails to disappoint me. I always want this to be good. I think we should probably just be taking the Unblinking Observers here. I rarely want the Novice Occultist, as we've kind of started to close out the Midnight Hunt season. Locked in the Cemetery, and nothing too interesting the rest of the way. Then we bomb open the Grafted Identity. Still quite good. Did we table the Siphon Insight? We only landed with one, right? Didn't table out of the Naturalist pack. Okay, well, we're getting kind of rambly, so I think we'll call it there today. As far as best of three goes, I know we didn't win that one, but kind of my experience with best of three in terms of playing the high buy-in event and then what I felt like we played against in this one, the quality of opponent feels much lower than it would be in best of one. I think it's just kind of a function of just being up in Mythic. You're playing against the top few thousand drafters over and over and over again, and playing against the good players just kind of forces you to get better, and you just kind of grow and improve. Playing against the top of the cream that rises to the top. Whereas in best of three, it feels like you're playing against just random opponents. I assume that they have the same number of wins as you, but they're going to be spread out across all of their ranks. And so I think you're much more likely to be running into gold and silver level players, or even kind of like end of season platinum players playing best of three, to whereas in best of one, we're just playing against Mythic players all the time, Diamond Plus for the majority of the month. And so I think that there is probably kind of like a realistic strategy as to where at the beginning of the month you play best of one, because you get to play against once the reset happens, then you're playing against more of a open field, and then at the end of the month kind of switch over into playing best of three, since you should be kind of pushing yourself back into that more open field. So I don't know. I don't have enough experience with it. It could just also be variance as well. But I kind of get the feeling that the quality of opponent in best of three feels lower than best of one. But it's also a lot higher risk reward factor in terms of. I think you get the 1,400 gems in best of one at 3 wins or 4 wins. To whereas if you don't get the 3 match wins in best of 3, then you're just definitely behind. And so it's tough. I think that could be a valid strategy, or you can just play draft for the first 2 weeks of the month and constructed for the last 2 weeks of the month, and have that be a reasonable way to just grind out the value as well. But nonetheless, let's click on these packs. We're not going to open any cards in it. We did complete the set with the previous draft, and so I'm curious to see how many gems you get out of mythics if that shows up. I could just go look it up, but who wants to do that? That's the easy way out, just going and looking it up. So we'll see. 20 gems, and 20 gems. Alrighty, well that's going to do it for us today. I hope you learned how to fly with your zombies a little bit better. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way. Had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.